last video, I showed you what I am intending to plant out in my outdoor garden for this coming fall season, and I showed you what type of seeds they are, and today some of them are needing attention, such as fertilizing and repotting. Now, the time I start to treating my seedlings with a light application of fertilizer, such as I will be showing you what I'm using when I start making that solution. Okay, after transplant the seedlings, as you can see, I will be treating it with a light application of fertilizer. Some I will not transplant or repot. I'm just going to thin it out, take out the weaker looking seedling, and then add more soil on top of it, and then treat it. These are my Napa cabbage or Chinese cabbage, and I will be repotting this. Now, the time I treat my seedlings with a light application of fertilizers, organic fertilizers that is when they start showing their true leaf. This is the true leaf right here. There are 3 leaves on this one already, which I will be snipping this off. And over here in the Napa cabbage, you can see that let me bring you closer so you can see what I'm pointing at. Now, once I transplanted them individually, you'll be able to distinguish the true leaf or leaves, 1, 2, 3 already coming out on this cabbage, Chinese cabbage, and it's due for transplanting, because as you can see, I have several in here, and I will be putting them in their own individual container. Now, that's the time when I start to give a light application of fertilizer in order to continue the growing process of each seedlings, because eventually they will deplete their reserve energy or nutrition, and they will need some kind of booster. Now, let me move you back and show you. At this stage right here, these seedlings, not quite there yet, pardon me. These seedlings here are starting to sprout their true leaf, and it's still got some time to go. I probably won't be repotting these seedlings here until about 3 to 4 days from now. But at this stage, as you can see, this Chinese cabbage here are getting quite crowded here and needs to be repotted in their own individual container. And these little seedlings here that don't have that much true leaf yet, I will not be treating it yet. Still got some reserve. Okay, so let me get this going, and I'll show you the next step that I'll be doing. Here are my Chinese cabbage. As you can see, a very nice seedling it is. And we are going to repot it. But the time being, it's very nice and stocky, and it's perfect, and it's got its true leaf, and it's perfect for repotting. Now, kind of tap it or poke it around, make sure it's nice and packed, the soil, so that the root will have contact with the soil. So just kind of pack that around. Oh, pardon me. Okay, so just make sure the soil is packed around it so that the root will have contact of the soil and it's got something to grab hold of. Okay, that's one planted. Let's find another perfect. Here you go, another beautiful seedling right here. So we're gonna just put that there and kind of top it with this moist soil all around it. And again, kind of tighten up the soil around it. Okay, just push it down a little, make sure it's nice and tight around the plant. Not too, don't push too hard. You really don't want to suffocate the root, but just enough so that it knows that it's got good soil to spread its roots around. Okay, so that, again, this will be treated with a light application of fertilizer, and I will be doing this to the rest of my seedlings. A lot of them are not quite ready to be treated. They're starting to have the true leaf, and so far these are the best looking seedling with bigger true leaves sprouting. So this one, actually, this Chinese cabbage here, or Napa cabbage, as you can see, I am actually transplanting it or repotting it. Whereas this here, the daikon radish, all I did is added more soil, and it will be treated with fertilizer. So let me continue doing this, and once I got all of my seedlings done, I will bring you back in. So let me show you how I pick my stronger seedling. As you can see, take a good look at this. This is a perfect seedling right here. It's got 3 new leaves, the true leaves. And when you look at this one, as you can see, it's got its own true leaves right here. But look at the second one. You can see there's some kind of abnormality on its growth, in which I found that to be a weaker seedling. Therefore, I snipped that one off, as you can see. And what I got left would be a much stronger candidate. Okay, so that is cleaned, and this one is pretty much done for me. Nice looking seedling, as well as this. Take a good look of those true leaves, which are very healthy looking. Now, over here I have 3. I will be getting rid of 2 of them, and this will be a better candidate for me as far as I'm concerned. These 2, we'll just nip that off. This is my daikon radish, by the way, and here's another one. They're pretty much, not really. I like the way that the leaves on this one here is far more spread out, healthier looking than this one, which seems to be curling for some reason or another. But we snipped that one off, and I do the same with all of them. I pick the best looking seedlings. Okay, here's one that you would kind of wonder. Okay, these have bigger seedlings, but the second one doesn't seem to be doesn't seem to be a very, well, that's where the decision comes in, whether you should keep that one or this one here, because this seems to be a much more uniform true leaves coming out on this one here. But this is how I determine which one I really would like to keep, okay? Now, the true leaves are really good indication of a healthy seedling. But in a time when you cannot seem to decide which one would be better than the other, this is what I go for. I look at the stems, the base of the stem, as you can see. And to me, the base of this stem here is a lot thicker or fatter, let's say, than this one here. So the stem of this one here seems to be stronger than this, so I'm going to snip this one off, okay? And that leaves me with just one more, and again, this kinda, okay, here's another good decision that I have to make. This is taller, it's got its own true leaves. One, the growth of it is so much more normal or healthier than this one that seems to have an abnormal shape. And well, maybe not so much as far as the stem, the base of the stem, they're pretty much the same. But this here, as you can see, the leaves are wider, you know, it's much healthier looking. They both the same shape, nice and wider. Doesn't have this, that seems to be an abnormal growth. So even though this is taller, I will pick this one as a better seedling. So that's basically is what I do when I'm picking my best seedlings. Several things to consider, not just, you know, having its true leaves, but it's also a much stronger looking one, deciding from the growth of the stem, okay, whether the stem is stronger looking or kind of leggy and spindly, okay? So in this case, I got my stronger seedling, and I'm not going to repot them at this stage, because I believe I might just go ahead and after a week or two, I might take this straight to the garden outside and plant this outdoor. But this is what I'm going to do. So I have here, these are already kind of moist, my indoor potting soil. I'm just going to top this off, and once I have this nice and topped off with a good quality indoor potting soil mix, I'm going to treat this with a light application of organic fertilizer. Okay, so not repotting, just adding more soil to those that are kind of low. This one is okay, but I went ahead and top it more, give it more to hang on to. I use fish fertilizer for nitrogen, and I will use about a teaspoon. And actually, because this is my first application to treat my seedlings, I will be putting actually less than a teaspoon of fish fertilizer, which will supply or boost the nitrogen that the plant needs. And I will also be using the liquid kelp Okay, so these are the two things I use whenever I initially treat my seedlings. Now you could use other type, but for me this is what's available for me. This is what I have on hand, and this is what I actually been using for years now with all of my seedlings with their initial treatment. Okay, so about a teaspoon or less, I would say, is sufficient just to give it a trace of all the minerals and necessary fertilizer that the seedling needs in order to continue growing and boost its energy. The same thing with, okay, the fish fertilizer is thicker than the kelp, so there you go. I don't want to put too much. A little less than a teaspoon would suffice at this stage. In about a week or two, I might decide to treat it again, and for now this would be sufficient. Okay, a teaspoon or less in a gallon of water, mix it well, and I will saturate the soil that I planted or transplanted my seedlings. And in this case, my daikon radish, I did not transplant it. I show you that I just added some soil in it, as you can see here. And what's good about not repotting this is that I did not disturb any root. Okay, and when it comes to root vegetables, I tend to be very careful doing the repotting. You can repot them, including beets. I have some of my seedlings repotted, and all I'm doing now is treating them with light application of fish fertilizer and some seaweed or kelp. So there they are, 2 days after transplanting and giving a light application of fish fertilizer and seaweed extract. Here's how they look right now, as you can see. And one thing I want to point out, you see how they really responded to that treatment. As you can see, take a good look on how big this leaf, the leaf is over here in my hand, and you see the leaves had really grown so much bigger than when I first transplanted them. They're doing very well. And here's something that I must point out. If you take a good look, you see how close my light is, how low they are, and close to the seedlings or the plants that I have here. That it will prevent it from getting leggy. Okay, you want to put your light as close as you can manage without burning them. So I'm keeping these plants in my porch with a good air circulation to keep it cool and to lessen the humidities out here. But as you can see, the seedlings are really looking nice and responding to the light application of fish and seaweed extracts. I hope this helped you as far as when you should start adding fertilizer on your seedlings, when to transplant them, or even just to add more soil to make sure there's adequate amount of nutrient distributed throughout your seedling and growing process.